welcome back to the Binding of Isaac Rebirth. This is episode 11, and it's time to finally round out the entire character cast, or at least the character cast as we know it right now, by playing as Maggie. Even though this was the character that people voted to see last, we still ended up seeing her in 2 challenge videos, so at this point we're seeing nothing new. Also, hello Guppy item number 1. Okay, so I guess we're abandoning the Yum Heart, and honestly I don't really mind it. I need to take 2 damage in order to retrieve it, and besides, there will be a point in the playthrough where the Yum Heart will become completely useless, so I might as well just stick with the paw, because if I don't get too many devil items, at this point it's gonna keep me on full health if I need to sacrifice any of my heart containers. And it'll probably happen. Honestly, at this point I probably could finish the floor already, but might as well finish exploring the entire place, just in the likelihood that we get some extra bombs, keys, or anything else. So at this point we're wasting some time, but we have Monstrous Long, and this is a really effective way of attack. It's a pretty slow one, but at least it's incredibly functional because it'll allow you to murder stuff like there's no tomorrow. Oh, and we already get free money. Excellent. Oh, and I believe it's the first time we've seen this boss in the basement. This is the Duke of Fly. We've encountered him quite a bunch in the boss rush, but he usually dies so fast that we never really see what he's about, and we're not going to see much more of him today. And yeah, that was the last boss that we needed to kill in the basement, and therefore we've unlocked the cellar, which is the harder alternate version of the basement, and they really mean it whenever it's harder. Oh my goodness. Ah, okay, good. We don't get to see the cellar yet. Honestly, the less time that you spend in the cellar, the better it is, because it's honestly quite a nightmare. I don't really know too many people out there who are actually fond of the cellar, and yeah, once again, I'm still playing this update in 720p, and therefore you can easily see that the HUD is getting in the way of everything. This is really bad. I think there's one more video after that where I play with this resolution, but after that we're going back to the proper resolutions. Alright, come on buddy. Well, I guess it's still more useful than the paw, but I'm gonna keep it right now, and no, 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 fuck this, we're not doing this again, not a second time, not after what happened that other time. Oh my god, I'm barfing over this power-up so hard. I mean, maybe one day we'll see what Tiny Planet can achieve for you in a good way, but that's not gonna be the playthrough where it happens. Monstrous Long and Tiny Planet do not cooperate together. Absolutely not. Ugh. Oh my goodness. So yeah, going back to Monstrous Long, it sure is fun. I mean, you have the shotgun effect with your tears. The closer you are to your enemies, the more damage they take, and this item alone can pretty much make you into a contender. And that's what we are talking about. Oh, okay. I guess at this point I probably should have just wasted some more hearts using my paw, but whatever, we're just going to go with what we have right now. But yeah, just look at how quickly this boss fight is going. We only have 1 damage upgrade so far, so just imagine whenever your tears will just fire even faster. That's gonna be amazing. So yeah, that's kind of a poor pickup to get in general, or even as Maggie, but we might as well pick it up at one point just in order to show it off. This is Lord of the Pit, and it makes you fly. Yeah, for 2 hearts. There's a lot of items that do this, but way better, and honestly... Oh, alright! Guppy item number 2, and yeah, I was right in order to bring the paw along, because hey, this way I can just bring out... waste my last heart in order to make it so that whenever I pick up Dead Cat, I get another red heart. And I'm keeping this red heart because I need to treasure it for the devil deals. Because at this point I am only going to be able to take one item. Or maybe two if the item that I get at the end of this floor will be an item that increases my health. Or if I get some health up pills, I mean, we've had some into the earlier levels. I swear that these rooms are some of the hardest rooms to make it through without getting hit, because the moment that you get inside the room, you have very little time in order to do your move and make it so that you'll be able to dodge all of the crap that is heading toward you. So you really need to be fast, and right now this one fly is just pretty much taking the perfect butthole spot just in order to make it so that I can shoot it with anything. Yeah, I figure at this point I probably could dump the paw in order to be able to do a whole lot of missapping. I mean, I'm not sure that we've properly shown this item. We're going to be able to do this in an upcoming challenge, but right now it's time to show you what you can do with a lemon. And the next enemy is our perfect candidate. Yep, here we go. You just need to step up slightly in the edge of the puddle in order for the damage to occur, which is a very good thing. Also, some enemies look really weird whenever you have the champion shading on them. This guy is supposed to be pink, but instead he's just purple. Okay, that means that he's going to shoot a shitload of tears toward you all of the time, so therefore you really shouldn't screw with them. But yeah, Lemon Mishap can do a shit ton of damage, and finally it recharges after only 2 rooms. So yeah, whenever you have some annoyance enemies in order to deal with, or even bosses, it's usually worth taking. As well as your life savings. Whenever you get hurt, you always get more money at your disposal. Yeah, if anything, that probably would have been a better room in order to use the Mishap. This works perfectly against those things, especially if they decide to all walk into the same direction with absolutely no change of trajectory or anything. Oh, the Hangman. Excellent card to have whenever you have permanent fly. Oh well, at least I guess that means that I can cut off my head for free. So, we're done with this one floor, but come on, we have 21 coins, so a trip to the shop is in order right now. Or a trip in order to be blown to pieces by these masterful enemies. Honestly, I think that the small ones are almost a bigger threat than the big ones because they are much less predictable, and that really can work out against you. And yeah, I guess that's also going to be a playthrough where we'll nuke a shitload of slot machines. I mean, we're probably going to bomb this one eventually because there's an item which is unlocked by bombing enough slot machines in the game. Yep, we haven't taken Bob's Brain in quite a while, and the streak will continue for this one update. So, alright, the donation machine has... I have no clue because the display will pretty much get in the way and will disallow me to read anything. So, yeah, great HUD once again. But yeah, you will unlock an item if you bomb enough slot machines, so once that you're done with them, make sure that you dispose of them. Don't leave your money unscathed. Oh, and here's another enemy that we haven't encountered into a boss arena proper. We saw him a lot into the boss rush, but here's his first time to appear in an actual boss fight. This guy can replace any of the Horsemen of the Apocalypse, and it's pretty much 2 bosses for the price of 1. First you deal with the Mound, and finally you deal with the Horseman itself, which is just a head that is floating in the air and shoot an occasional projectile at you. And whenever you kill it, instead of getting a ball of bandages or a cube of meat, here you will get the pony. It allows you to fly, and the reason why I'm keeping it is because, well, I'm already flying, but at the same time it boosts your speed to a certain set level if it's too low, so right now I definitely benefit from having a pony. With that said, the Headless Horseman will be a countless source of headaches whenever you'll try to do stuff like collecting all of the cube of meat, ball of bandages, and everything. And here we go, it's Guppy time! I wonder, should we be Guppy or should we shoot tears that will face sometime through the wall. Who knows? Yep, endless flies is always your allies in this game. So whenever I say that fly can sometimes be cheap, right now, even if I didn't take Lord of the Pit earlier in the playthrough, I still will have two different means in order to fly in this game. The pony and finally Guppy form. So honestly, flying on its own should not really be worth 2 red hearts, but if you want to waste all of your red hearts, then by all means do so, because it's a pretty easy way in order to do so. And yeah, that's the special ability of the pony. You can dash into a straight line and damage everything for like 40 damage each. It's pretty much the same amount of damage as, say, using a black heart or whatever will do. So, all in all, it's not really a bad ability, and it charges at like every 4 rooms, so usually it's not a bad thing to have. By the end of the game, it's going to be completely outclassed, but right now we're gonna take what we can have. At this point, I probably should just have dashed through the Knightheads, because at this point they're probably the bigger threat. Right now with Guppy, the Mr. Maw enemies are no threat whatsoever. And meanwhile, even with Guppy, you still cannot really reliably deal with these guys. Oh, alright, do we take the chance? I mean, we have such an awesome loadout right now, but maybe it will be even more awesome. Okay, the item in the treasure room is not very useful, so at this point I'm gonna risk it, because it's also going to reroll the item in the treasure room. So, what do we have? Okay, that's a pretty underwhelming change, but hey, we've got Sweet Horns. That's Aries, and basically it increases your speed, and finally it damages enemies if you ram into them, but that implies taking damage, which is kind of a no-no. Okay, but at least the new treasure room item that I got was worth it. We now got homing technology, which almost compensates for the slow rate of fire, and finally the fact that I don't deal good damage anymore. And yeah, we've also got a shit ton of other items. They're being highlighted by the little pop-ups that are happening at the bottom of the screen. I'm probably going to address them at some parts in the playthrough whenever we'll see them hacked. Because at this point it's kind of a clusterfuck. Every single time that you reroll your entire inventory, it's kind of hard to know what's going on at times. With that said, however, I kinda did a mistake by doing what I did, because I had a goated previously, and now that I don't have it anymore, this means that I can be locked out of going all the way to Sheol, which means that we will probably end this entire run at Mom's Heart if we are unlucky enough. And yeah, Brother Bobby for 3 blue hearts, no thanks. This is why you also need to fill up your red heart containers, because otherwise you get really bad deals like this one. And it was even worse in the original Flash game, because even when you had red hearts, sometimes there will be the chance of devil room items to cost blue hearts, which you didn't always have, so sometimes you will be completely screwed. And yeah, also whenever we got hit, we revealed another item that we had, which is the best bud. Essentially, this is a fly that combines the range and the distance of Forever Alone and the damage of Distant Admirator, but the thing is, it only works whenever you get hit, so in overall, I'm not too fond of this one. There's another attack fly in the game that allows you to unleash the flies whenever you get hit, and it's way better than this one. So, I might as well talk about some of the enemies or the minions that I have going around right now. The pink one is called a Rainbow Baby. All that it does is shoot random tears at your enemies. It pretty much combines all of the basic familiars into one. You'll never know which kind of tears comes out of it, and overall, he's okay. I do not mind him. In the past, he was pretty much locked behind a really huge set requirement of unlockable stuff to do in order to get him, which honestly was not very good, but hey, in Rebirth he's available from the get-go, which is way better because it's not as if he's a fantastic familiar, but hey, he's decent. And yeah, the little fella which is bound to me by a chain or whatever, is Gemini. So yeah, you can be your own Gemini boss from the beginning of the game. This minion will seek out any enemies that it can reach. It deals pretty decent damage, you just need to be close enough to your opponent, so all in all, he's also pretty alright. And finally, we have the Leech. Oh god, okay, I'm gonna talk about the Leech later, because this room is kind of a clusterfuck. You see, whenever the basic jumping dudes get themselves thrown and jump into fires, they become very dangerous. Their health pretty much double, their speed also double, and they become much more aggressive. It's really not a pretty sight. Oh, alright, we're really racking on the familiars now. Yeah, now we have the Big Fan, which is, well, he's a pretty weird protector and damage dealer. Essentially, oh, what is going on with him? He's completely lost right now. But yeah, he circles around you very slowly in order to block projectiles, and that's pretty much his entire purpose of existing. So yeah, we finally have the negative, and this is one of the items that will allow us to get to one of the true endgame segments of the game. This way, there will be another level beyond Sheol. And yeah, we're gonna get Judah's Shadow, which can transform you into the most powerful character of the entire game after you die, but look at how much health that I have right now. I'm sorry, but that's not happening. But hey, if you have a good reason to die whenever you have Judah's Shadow, by all means do so, because you become an unstoppable force of nature. Because the damage scaling for this character makes it so that all damage that he does is multiplied by 2. In comparison, Azazel is like multiplied by 1.50. A lot of other characters in the game multiply it by 1. Judas himself is like 1.35 and Cain is 1.20. And finally Eve is at like 0.85 or 0.75, I don't remember, but either way she has the poorest damage by all means. Yeah, at this point my flies are just murdering every single boss as it appears. Doesn't matter that you have shit damage, Guppy will always prevail for you. Oh, okay, and... oh, and apparently I shoot Charmed Tears, so I probably have like Mom's Eye Shadow as well, or however it was called, but... yeah, I'm definitely going places with this one playthrough. So, while we're slaughtering all of the bosses, might as well finish elaborating on the final character that's following my cast of ever-growing familiars, and it's the Leech. Whenever it feels like attacking enemies, it will deal damage pretty slowly to them, and if they kill an enemy, then you get half a heart back. Honestly, I don't really think it's the most useful of familiars out here, but in runs where you don't get a whole lot of health and you rely on your red hearts to pull you through, then it can really shine. But if you want raw damage, you better look at many other familiars in the game, because they pretty much beat all of them. Yep, all of that one person gets beaten. But yeah, I think the one thing that I don't like about Best Bud is that when you don't have it, or at least when you have it, there's no indication that you even have the item until you get hurt. So essentially this is only when you are able to witness, oh hey, that's right, this guy is alongside with me. But yeah, sometimes he do has a good chance to shine, especially if you combine him with the big fat fan or whatever, because it will also slow down the rate at which your other familiars will spin around you, because he spins around you a whole lot faster than some of the other flies, especially if you compare it to the Distant Admirator or Forever Alone. So in that way, he's even harder to use, but thankfully now he spins around me at a decent speed that makes him usable, so we've got that going for. Honestly, on his own, Best Bud is really nothing to talk about too much. Oh hey, I guess it's still got a couple of damage off Death's Mount. And yeah, so far, look at how many times we've had the Harrys come to work. The answer is, not really. Honestly, I'd be hard-pressed to find any kind of uses for that. I mean, it probably will be useful if you have some item that will allow you to collide into enemies while being invincible and stuff, but honestly, I'm never really a huge fan of items in this game where you need another item for it to work, because usually it's not really too enticing. Oh, and we got Hukuli as a reward. Oh, that came out really wrong. Hey, your reward is Hukuli! And the item that we unlock is Maggie's bow. Honestly, it's a lifesaver whenever you do a hard run mode, because health is a whole lot more sparse and it will allow this item to shine through. And finally, it also gives you an extra health. Oh, alright, I finally got some of my damage back. Yeah, at this point, that's the only item that I needed in order to be an unstoppable abomination of hell. Because that's where we're going, and we gotta make sure that hell is welcome, ready to welcome us. Yeah, look at us, we look so horrified. Yeah, that's the face that you do whenever you find your dog having no head remaining. Well, I do the same face too, because, yeah, it's really not a pretty sight. Yeah, we're just going to run the hell out of this slot machine, and boom goes the dynamite. I think you needed to bomb something like 10 or 20 slot machine in order to get the item that is associated to it, and it's a pretty worthwhile one, or at least one that will make playthroughs entertaining. And now that I've bombed the slot machine, this is where I get a shitload of money, so I guess that's my luck. Yeah, I suppose at this point I don't really miss my monstro-long pentagram that I had at the beginning of the playthrough. This will suffice more than nicely. Honestly, you should never underestimate homing technology, because it's usually almost always worth it, because it allows you to pretty much hit every enemy all at once, it looks really cool, and finally it's really effective. With that said, however, homing technology will not really make it any easier for you to deal with these crawling thingies, no matter what kind of type they are, and honestly right now I have no clue what the hell hurt me. Honestly, this is one part that I never really like of the womb. Sometimes it can be very visually charged, and therefore it's easy to miss some things. Ringworm unfortunately does not affect my laser. That's a really sad state of affair. Honestly, I just like it if there was just some way that will make your laser all screwy like a corkscrew or something, and it just will make absolutely no sense on a visual standpoint. But at this point it will still be awesome, but I suppose that there is a limit as to what kind of wizardry you can achieve in this game. Alright, my army of fly, go, sick mama Gertie! Oh, and I still got it. Good job, me. Yep, we haven't gotten a devil room in ever since like 2 levels, so maybe our luck is running out. Or maybe our luck is running in, because usually when you don't get a devil room into one floor, it increases the chances of you getting a devil room on the next floor. So at least we've got that going for. So the dream of going all the way to Sheol and the next new location in the game is still alive. Also, who knows why the hell I didn't go into the curse room or whatever, because I had the teleportation pill in order to fly out of it without any damage whatsoever, but hey, I suppose that goes with the territory of me not paying attention to the game at times. And once again, who knows why I'm... Oh, okay, I guess that I knew what I was doing all along. I knew that by spending my money on this one bomb, I'd get the treasure map in order to know where exactly I'm going. But yeah, at this point we're just going to nuke both of them, and as far as I know, nuking beggars also increases your chance to get belongings. And at this point we're just going to continue playing the shell game, because if you play 50 times, you get an item, but that will depend on as long as I stop getting the scatto. Yeah, now that it appeared, I will win. Yup, just as I predicted. So here we go, we now are Lord of the Flies, as well as being Guppy, so we're the ultimate Fly Meister. That will imply that every single time that we'd see a fly, it will pop up to our help immediately, and yeah, what the fuck? That's like the 5th Guppy item this one playthrough, what is going on? Apart from Guppy's airball, I've gotten every single Guppy item in the game for this one playthrough. And now I'm pretty sure that people are going to scream at me saying, "Oh, come on, I cannot even get Guppy in a regular playthrough. Curse you!" So yeah, whenever you don't have the compass, it helps to pay a little attention to your map in order to map out the possibilities as to where the bosses can be. Usually it's always one lone room that will be at the end of a path, so you have to make sure to know which of the paths that it is. Alright, can Momsart destroy Lord of the Flies and Guppy? Lord of the whatever flies, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure what name we can give to this alternate fabrication of Guppy and Lord of the Flies. And here we go! We're going to Sheol, and after that we're going to new unexplored territory thanks to the negative. A fetus in a jar. That somehow feels familiar. But yeah, all in all, even though we're playing as the slowest character, I believe this has been one of my most efficient runs yet. We're at Sheol and the clock is only at like 22 minutes, which is pretty good in overall for a character that is supposed to be a really slow slog. But yeah. I mean, I'm not really sure that there is a thing such as a fast slot out here, so if such specimen exists, please mail it to a zoo in order for it to be taken care of, and make sure that it's a really good place. Also, look at us. We are so adorable with our blonde hair, our little cute kitten eye, and the large poop in our face. We are a masterpiece in the making. With that said, however, being a masterpiece in the making doesn't make this room any less annoying. Not only you get sucked in toward the spikes, but you're at the complete... oh yeah. Also, whenever these things just start to shoot projectiles, you have no clue where the hell they're going, so... yeah, it's pretty much a complete crapshoot. Oh. At one moment I was thinking, oh, we will be able to finally get a duel between two highball statues, because I'm pretty sure that if you got them to shoot at each other, they will kill themselves, but unfortunately it did not happen. So right now, I don't know, I mean, I probably could explore a bit. I mean, we're only 24 minutes in this playthrough and... nah, whatever. I don't think there's anything interesting left, so let's just confront Mr. Stan. Alright, first you get an endless supply of flies, and finally the fallen dies within the blink of an eye. Oh, look at that, Satan is full of love. Finally, we've managed to improve him. Also, sometimes I like to try and set bombs so that they will explode underneath his giant hooves whenever they just start thumping on the screen. With that said, however, it can be tricky to time properly, but... yeah, but honestly, I think the worst part of this fight is the appearing leeches that explode into your face. So, instead of finishing the playthrough, because we have the negative, we're going someplace else. Welcome to the Dark Room, one of the ultimate dungeons in the game. People who have played the original Isaac already know about the original final dungeon of the game, which is the chest. Essentially, this is the dark version of the chest. But while the chest has 4 golden chests in the first room, here you just get 4 red chests, and most of the time they're completely useless. I probably lucked out by having the spider bite into that one chest, because I'm pretty sure at this point I must have exhausted every item that could appear into a red chest ever, so it defaulted to a treasure item instead. So most of the rooms in the Dark Room are filled with a crapshoot of a lot of bosses, and it can be a horrible pain to navigate depending on the loadout that you have. But honestly, this character is not afraid of anything. I have flies in order to kill every single one of you. I'm coming for you. Also, when you get to the dark room or the chest, you gotta be combat ready, because you cannot bomb the doors into these dungeons. You have to go through every single fight that it hangs out to you, and you must do it successfully, and you still lose one full heart every time that you get damaged, as usual. So you better be ready. And here's a boss that I believe we haven't seen yet. It's called the Haunt, and it's a really mean ghost. Or at least it will be a mean ghost if I allowed it any chance to attack, but right now it was not gonna happen. And yes, Spider Bite is also a really good item. It gives your tears a chance to slow down enemies, and as you can see, it's working out really well. Most of the time that I shoot at enemies, they just become frozen entirely. And yeah, Scuttle also prevents the huge flies that shoot projectiles at you to not shoot at you anymore. A lot of the fly enemies in the game become completely harmless whenever you have the fly love. And now we have the piss love, apparently. Yeah, big rooms will be a common issue into the dark room, especially when you have some of the bosses that it can have, but alright, speaking of boss, here is one of the final bosses of the game, the Lamb. The expansion pack for the original Isaac hinted at this boss because it was called the Wrath of the Lamb. Now you finally get to fight it. It's a pretty healthy final boss, it's got a lot of health, but for the most part, I think it's not too hard of a boss in general. It's got a lot of attacks though, so you have to keep on your toes, because you never really know what this boss will throw at you, but here we go, it's dead. We've won the game forever with this one character. So by going to Sheol and beyond, then you get this end which depicts that you ran away from home, and yeah, we've unlocked a new item, and you get Dead Boy if you finish either the chest or the dark room without getting hit. Man, that fanfare got messed up without having Danny B taking care of the soundtrack. So yeah, we're done with Maggie, and it's time to go back to the challenges. So coming up next in the pipeline, challenge number 9, Demo Man.